I see a bunch of the mayors in the north quite vocal. Mayor of Liverpool, Sheffield, Newcastle, saying, don't close our pubs, don't stop our industry, and really fighting for and asking the government for where's the science, and really demanding that they try to at least explain it or throw them a lifeline. And yet in London, I feel like the opposite. I feel like the mayor here is saying it's inevitable, the lockdown. I mean, it's almost like I feel like he wants to lock this city down, and it also seems to tell all the businesses here that he wants to shut them down. And you're in this business milieu, and when all the businesses shut down and people are encouraged not to come in the city, I mean, you're going to feel those effects. Why do you think that's happening?
I think that my personal view is that the politicians just don't know, and that there are different views, but the science is inconclusive, and people make their own judgments. And so, depending on what their own vested interests are, and it's the continual debate of health versus economy and where you sit on that balance. And I think I would prefer it if the Mayor of London had a different stance. But yeah, that's I guess his prerogative.
Yeah, no, I agree. The science can kind of be currently kind of co-opted for whatever you want to do as a result. The problem with the economic costs is that they're deferred, and even the mental health and physical health of those are deferred down the road. Whereas the cases in some of the COVID-related deaths can maybe be quantified earlier. So I guess as politicians, sometimes they seem to be making those choices. But I don't know, it continually doesn't seem to be backed in science. And I'm a little frustrated with the mayor because it seems almost as if he's encouraging the lockdown in a city that's already hurting economically. 13% of the office workers there. Transport in London is very difficult to get around. And it feels like the mayor should be encouraging businesses, and it almost seems like it's trying to shut the whole thing down. And I don't know if that means to get a bailout later or what the strategy is, but it's everyone I talk to they just don't understand the logic to a point where it's not even they don't agree. They said, I don't know why that decision is being made. Tell me more about the SOS London plan, and what do you think the government can do for tourism in general? Because it's a sector maybe isn't talked about as much.
Yeah, I think we fly under the radar a bit compared to sort of hospitality, retail. And the SOS Collective was a group of London tourist businesses coming together back in July, actually, to initially really to lobby for the government to look at improvement to business rates for tourist specific, and to look at extensions to the furlough scheme or changes to it to reflect the significant issues that tourism was facing, and also to try and publicise people coming into London and to drive some footfall into London. And so that was really into August, I guess, and to try and secure some public funding for some sort of Visit London type campaigns that we hoped would be run. I think it had some semblance of success in terms of getting the name out there and possibly making people think about coming in to visit tourist businesses in London. We weren't successful in achieving response from the government or sector-specific support, and it feels like, as I alluded to before, that certain businesses may fall through the cracks with the continuation of the furlough scheme or the job support scheme that's coming in now. That there will be a number of businesses within tourism that no longer can allow their staff to claim furlough but won't be able to do anything else. And so, yeah, my fear is that that we weren't successful in protecting tourism in London as of yet.
Yeah. How do you feel when you're trying to promote Visit London and then there is reintroduced a 24/7 congestion charge and then reintroduced 10 p.m. curfews?
It didn't seem to make logical sense to me. And there have been a few other areas similar to that have made things more difficult, I think, for us as well. So during lockdown, a number of the roads around London, like significant roadwork, was done without consultation that ripped up some of the areas. So, along Park Lane, for example, we'd had a long-standing stand space there, which is a sort of a key aspect of how we've built the business, is getting the right stand spaces to stand our buses in certain areas. And that the opportunity was taken to build a large cycle superhighway down Park Lane, basically taking away that space that we'd kind of secured years ago, without consultation, which is a shame for us. And when we came back after lockdown, it was sort of the daggers are coming from all sides, as it were. We can't buy a break here. So similar to the congestion charge, I guess it feels like that maybe the local and national governments aren't pulling together in the right direction as I might hope they would.